scariest conspiracy theories in the world that will seriously change your life. So this right here shows all the conspiracy theories from the most well-known ones that we all know to the darkest of the dark. This series we're going to be going from the most well-known ones to the darkest of the dark, which will probably keep you up all night. Having to do the research into all of these is probably going to disturb the hell out of me, but you know, I'm doing it for you guys, so make sure you hit that follow button. Part 1. Let's go. Today we're going to be talking about Area 51, but not how you think. Trust me, this is wild. This guy right here is Bob Lazar. Now, he used to work at Area 51. Now, Area 51 is, of course, one of the biggest conspiracy theories out there. What is it? Why can't we go near there? Is it just a military base? Bob claims he used to work there, reverse engineering alien craft. Now, this right here is his actual drawing of an alien craft. Yeah, crazy, right? This is where it gets mental. Absolutely mental. I think Area 51 is this place, right? According to Bob, this is not where all the crazy stuff happened. It's actually down the road here, in a place called Area S4. Area S4 is located up in the mountains, completely top secret, and nobody knows really what it is until Bob came out about it. Bob claims he would be taken to Area S4, which is an underground facility where he would work on the alien craft. Put the coordinates into Google and look at this place, it's just crazy. The road which leads straight up to it, the road ends right there, and then there's just like holes in the ground. So there is definitely something there. What I'm saying is all from Bob. There is literally a documentary about this. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix, you may have seen it. Let me know what you think, because this is crazy. The series is about to get a whole lot crazier, so make sure you hit that follow button. I'll see you in the next one.
Craziest coincidences in history. On November 30th, 1825, the legendary writer Mark Twain was born. Twain's birth occurred just 2 weeks after Halley's Comet was visible on Earth. Though Twain is widely known for authoring books such as The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, he also took a particular interest in Halley's Comet and was fascinated that it was seen just 2 weeks before he was born. A year before the comet returned, Twain was quoted famously as saying, "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835. It is coming again next year and I expect to go out with it." He went as far as to say it would be the greatest disappointment of his entire life if he did not go out with the comet. Twain ended up passing away on April 21st, 1910, while the comet returned to be seen on April 20th, 1910, just 1 day before Twain passed. So Twain ended up getting his wish. He came in with the comet and he went out with it. But for more.
What if history is just repeating itself, and Earth is just an infinite time loop? Everything that has and will happen to us as a civilization has already happened to previous civilizations many times before. But then, there's a big reset, and we're back to the beginning again. What's the point of this, you may ask? Well, it stops us from advancing too much, to the point that we can overpower those that are in control. Just think about the Tartarians, or even the Egyptians. Many of us believe that the buildings and structures built by previous civilizations are too good to be true. So what if the history books that tell us about these civilizations were altered to make us believe that they were less advanced, when in actuality, they were more advanced than us? It sounds crazy, I know, but just imagine. Look how easy it is to erase digital files and recreate scribbles in books. Imagine if the reason for us not being able to find certain scriptures of how things such as the pyramids were built is due to the fact that it was all stored on computers or online databases, thinking that it would be easier for future generations to access, when in reality, it would all just be erased. There are people living inside of the Earth. It's true. New information from NASA states that there is a large ocean beneath the Earth's crust, after scientists detected movement below the surface. Around 500 miles below, a large supply of water has been found stored in a rock named ringwoodite. But it gets even crazier. Scientists say that this rock is so huge that it contains 3 times the amount of water on the Earth's surface. This causes many to believe that there is more down there than we originally thought, possibly even civilizations. While the news of this discovery was over 10 years ago, it was never talked about. Is the government hiding this information from us? What do you think?
Guys, I've been saying for a long time now that I'm convinced giants used to roam the Earth. This picture was taken around 1901, of course people are going to come back and say it's been photoshopped and all this stuff. But guys, they have found giant skeletons, they've found giant skulls. It's all been brushed under the carpet and denied, just like everything else, because they need us to keep believing in their version of history and this whole idea of evolution. It's all horse crap, guys, as usual. And don't even get me started on giant trees and our petrified past. Guys, there used to be giants in all aspects of life and nature on this planet, and we have been lied to the back teeth.
The most famous woman pilot ever, Amelia Earhart, did not mysteriously disappear on her last flight. She was eaten by giant crabs and they found her skeletal remains. During her flight around the world, she was running out of fuel in the middle of the Pacific Ocean right before she was supposed to land on Howland Island. But she couldn't make it, so it's rumored that she crash landed on the tiny Niku Island that was on the same exact coordinate path that she was factually flying on. That island is notoriously home to these giant killer coconut crabs that can break a human's bone with its claw with as much force as a lion's jaw. 3 years after she disappeared, researchers found this incomplete skeleton on Niku Island where the bones looked like they were torn apart limb from limb. Back then, researchers weren't exactly sure they were Amelia's skeletal remains, but in 2017, a forensic anthropologist examined the bones and determined that they were almost definitely Amelia's. Furthering that, they found an old campfire set up on the beach, a device that helps pilots determine their longitude and latitude, landing gear from a plane sticking out of the water off the shore of the island, and a shoe from the same exact brand that Amelia Earhart was last seen in. I'm gonna show the craziest piece of evidence, but before I do, make sure you follow so you finally know the craziest conspiracy theories about each of these celebrities and requests you want to see next. Scientists went back to the island and found this container of this brand of freckle cream, which Amelia was notoriously known for using. Girl was eaten by crabs.
Do you know all the dark, horrific things that happened during the filming of Wizard of Oz?
No, what happened?
So The Wizard of Oz was released in 1939, and the original actor who played the Tin Man, after 2 weeks of working, he actually had to quit because he was dying of poisoning from aluminum, because they were actually grinding up aluminum, putting it into powder, and putting it on his face, and it was slowly getting into his lungs. So he had aluminum in his lungs, and he couldn't breathe. So they had to get a new actor. And the actor who played the lion had so much makeup on his face that they would not allow him to eat food. So he just couldn't eat. And apparently his costume was actually made out of real lion hair. It was super heavy, so it was even hard for him to breathe. And the actor who played the Scarecrow actually has permanent scars all over his face from the prosthetic and makeup that he had to use for the Scarecrow.
Dude, what are they doing to these people?
Yeah, and the dog Toto actually made more money daily than the Munchkin actors made the whole movie.
The dog?
Yeah, and the actress who played the witch actually suffered second-degree burns from an explosion that happens in the movie. You could actually see the explosion happen where she actually gets burned, and her hair and her clothes caught on fire.
Okay, I had no...
That was a real fucking thing that happened.
Somebody unexpectedly launched a surface-to-air missile and hit the UFO. It fell to Earth not far away and exploded by flaring up with an extremely bright light. At that very instant, 23 soldiers who had watched the phenomenon turned into stone poles. Only 2 soldiers who stood in the shade and were less exposed to the luminous explosion survived. Remains of the UFO and the petrified soldiers were transferred to a secret scientific research institution near Moscow. Specialists assume that a source of energy that is still unknown to Earthlings instantly changed the structure of the soldiers' living organisms, having transformed it into a substance whose molecular composition is no different from that of limestone. This is an extremely menacing case. The aliens possess such weapons and technology that go beyond all our assumptions. They can stand up for themselves if attacked. If you're going to go deep in the rabbit hole, there's like the grays that everybody talks about, and then there's another thing called the tall whites. The people have described them. They almost look like Scandinavian or something like that, like pale skin. Some alien life is probably, 100,000 years ahead of us, 700,000 years ahead of us, 1,000,000 years ahead of us. But some alien life is probably millions and millions of years ahead of us. They probably don't want to fuck with us anymore. But I bet that intelligence reaches that moment where you can join the intergalactic hive of minds. And the civilization reaches some insane harmony with the very universe itself.
Right.
That's probably where it goes if you don't blow yourself up.
Dirty facts about history that school probably didn't teach you. In the 1400s, prostitutes wore wigs on their lady parts with fake pubic hair to prevent lice and cover up any syphilis sores before doing the dirty. An intern at NASA once stole a safe full of moon rocks, sprinkled them on a hotel bed, and proceeded to have sex with his girlfriend on top of them. Man was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison for getting his rocks off. Raphael, the Italian Renaissance artist, not the Ninja Turtle, died of exhaustion from non-stop sex. In other words, he boned till he croaked. A common hairstyle in 17th century Europe was the Polish plait. A gross, smelly mass of crusty, matted hair cemented together by pus, nits, and dirt. The hairstyle was believed to have healing properties and could supposedly protect people from illnesses. During the Iron Age in Ireland, a new king would be crowned in a ceremony in which he penetrated a horse in front of an audience. The horse would then be eaten for dinner by everyone who just witnessed them doing the dirty.
It turns out that volcanoes are not what we thought they were. They aren't spewing lava from deep underground the Earth's crust. They are actually the dead carcasses of old dragons. And if you don't see it yet, maybe you will now. This is the face of a dragon that died. There are many other examples of volcanoes looking like the faces of dragons, just like this one right here. And that's because they are. Now let's take a look at Mayon Volcano. And what do we have here to the right? It is the head of a dragon. The entire mountain is the dead carcass that exploded, and all that remains that is visible is the head. Here's another one, Mount Vesuvius. We got the dragon on the left, and its mouth is spewing out all of the elements inside of its stomach, which I'll get to soon, and it created this mountain here. Now, I bet you didn't know that there are animals that actually use glycerin and potassium to make fiery explosions that shoot out of their body, usually their butt. Such as the bombardier beetle, which has a reaction going on inside of the back of its body, and then it just like shits out a huge flame of fire. So is it really that hard to think that perhaps there was an animal a long time ago that could shoot flames out of its mouth with just glycerin and potassium? But there we are. Now you know that volcanoes are actually the dead bodies of dragons, and there are chemical reactions going on which create the flames going upward, and it's just basically going on in the animal's stomach. However long this thing died, it was probably like 1,000 years ago.
So, if ancient lost civilizations fascinate you, then you need to watch this video because the rabbit hole of lost civilizations goes so much further than you can possibly imagine. Whether it be the Persians and the grand lost city of Persepolis, or the Babylonians and their lost cosmic knowledge in the Tower of Babel, the great Sumerians, the dawn of civilization and the colossal winged lions, the mysterious Baalbek stones found beneath the Temple of Jupiter in Lebanon, of which the builders are still unknown today, the mysterious Nubian pyramids of the Kushite Empire discovered south of Egypt, the vast wealth of Africa's Mali Empire, the mysterious sea people who had no land to call their own, but lived by boat and waged war on the ancient world's most powerful empires. But what about the New World? The colossal 40-ton Olmec heads, enormous ancient cities hiding in the dense jungles of the Yucatan Peninsula, the solid granite temples and lost pyramids of the Shaban and Moche cultures, the sprawling Nazca and Palpa lines, the enormous architecture at Tiahuanaco, the giant earthen pyramids and cities of North America, and so much more. I'm Luke Caverns. If you guys would like to learn more about these lost civilizations and information that's just not easy to find anywhere else, well, please like and follow for more.
What if your president wasn't who they seemed? Let's unravel the wild world of presidential conspiracies. JFK's assassination is the mother of all conspiracies. Was Lee Harvey Oswald acting alone, or was it a shadowy plot involving the CIA, KGB, or the Mafia? Zooming forward, Obama's presidency was plagued by birther theories. Was he really born in the US? Were there secret forces trying to hide his true birthplace? Some believe Nixon didn't resign solely due to Watergate. Was there something more sinister at play? Did he know too much? Reagan's assassination attempt sparked rumors. Was it an isolated incident or part of a larger conspiracy? Could someone have been pulling the strings? Then there's the whispers of Trump's alleged ties to Russia. Is it all political gossip, or is there more to the story? These are just a few of the many presidential conspiracies that have fascinated and confounded us for decades. Which one do you believe or disbelieve? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Follow for more intriguing deep dives into history.